and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Chopra. Today is a momentous day because it marked a new beginning for Ayodhya. Yes, the Ram Mandir construction has been underway for a very long time now, but today we saw the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, giving a speech in Ayodhya as he inaugurated a grand railway station as well as an airport and several other projects in what is now expected to be a major religious tourism hub for not just Hindus, for not just Indians, but hopefully for the rest of the world as well. Today in his speech, Prime Minister Modi ensured that he does remind the people what the BJP and what he and his vision truly stand for. From Ayodhya, the Prime Minister said to the people out there listening, he said that we have focused not just on ensuring a pakka ghar or a pakka makan for Ram Lalla, for Lord Ram, but for crores of Indians out there. So even from Ayodhya, even through these gentle reminders, the message of the Prime Minister was very clear that even as the Ram Mandir is in its final stages of construction, let's utilize this moment to unite as Indians. However, Prime Minister Modi's tryst, one can say, with the Ram Mandir is not something that began merely after the Supreme Court judgment. It has been going on for a very, very long time now, and we take the next half an hour to take our viewers through what exactly is it, through the history of Narendra Modi and Ayodhya. I'm going to begin by requesting our crew in the PCR to put out our screens for the viewers to see. This is a page on Twitter called Modi Archive, and they've put out some bits and pieces of Prime Minister Modi's history with Ayodhya and with the construction of the Ram Mandir. In the beginning, it says that as a Swayam Sevak in RSS, he played a crucial role in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement dating back to the 1970s. During a speech, he stated, and I'm quoting here, "We cannot cope with the work people want us to do. There is so much of public involvement and demand made on us." So right here, this is an excerpt of the speech. It says during the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, he delivered one of the very powerful speeches, one titled Lok Adalat Ma Ayodhya, was especially impactful. It resonated well with the public that the speech was recorded and thousands of cassette copies were sold for people to listen to it again and again. Hopefully in just a short while from now, we'll be able to put out what was said in this particular speech. Then of course, let's come to this particular aspect as well. Right here it says in an article in Sadhana magazine back in 1989, Narendra Modi wrote about his vision behind the importance of the Ram Mandir construction and its contribution towards the awakening of national consciousness and uniting India. He said in Sadhana magazine, "Today the Ram Shila has become a symbol of national consciousness and those opposing the cause may feel uneasy. Ram Shila's significance extends beyond the construction of the Ram temple. It has become the faith in the hearts of millions. Just like Lokmanya Tilak's Ganeshtav nurtured national consciousness during the freedom movement and Mahatma Gandhi's Chakra created a world of devotional sentiments through Swarajya with Chakra, going beyond more economic support. Similarly, in the 5th decade of independence, Ram Shila has become the foundation stone of national consciousness." Right here is that excerpt from Sadhana magazine. Once again, in the same year, it says during the Ram Shila Pujan, Narendra Modi actively contributed to its organization in collaboration with the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. He undertook tours across various villages in Gujarat during this period with the purpose of collecting bricks from thousands of villagers. Now, many people may not know this, but for some of us, if you could perhaps speak to your parents or those who are fortunate to still have their grandparents around, you may want to ask what this particular movement was about. And I'll also, I have a lot of interesting guests with us as well. and I will come to them in just a moment about this. But when he talks about collecting bricks, there were thousands and thousands of people whose families actually donated bricks during this particular time and this movement. I don't know why we've removed the Twitter thread from our screens. Then, of course, in September 1990, the Somnath Ayodhya Ram Rath Yatra commenced, and Narendra Modi, then Gujarat's BJP General Secretary, played a crucial role as the charioteer for the Gujarat leg of the Yatra. Some of the photographs of this particular 1990 Ayodhya Ram Rath Yatra also on your screens, where a young Narendra Modi can be seen leading the movement. Once again, the thread says Narendra Modi's commitment extended beyond his role as a charioteer. He delivered numerous powerful speeches during the Yatra, which often drew huge crowds. The procession of the Ram Rath in Gujarat frequently halted as enthusiastic crowds gathered to catch a glimpse of the chariot. Despite all, Narendra Modi meticulously organized every detail of the Yatra. Here, once again, a photograph of a young Narendra Modi in Gujarat during the Yatra. In 1991, at the Delhi Boat Club, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad organized a huge rally at the Delhi Boat Club in support of the Ayodhya movement. Saints, spiritual leaders and people from all over the country gathered in the name of the Bhagwan Shri Ram. Once again, photographs of a young Narendra Modi at the Delhi Boat Club in 1991 leading the way. In every conceivable way, the thread says, Narendra Modi devoted his efforts to the construction of the Sri Ram temple. He played a pivotal role in the campaign for the construction. Narendra Modi collected an impressive 10 crore signatures in favor of this cause by travelling the length and breadth of the country. Right here, once again, a photograph from the same movement. Then, amongst Narendra Modi's personal belongings is a meaningful handwritten poem dedicated to Bhagwan Shri Ram. This particular verse holds unique significance as it is inscribed on the official letterhead of the BJP J&K. So, a young Narendra Modi on a letterhead of the Bharatiya Janata Party for Jammu and Kashmir state has penned down a poem for Lord Ram. A vow to Sri Ram during the Ekta Yatra. I will come back only when the construction of the temple begins, declared Narendra Modi during the Ekta Yatra. It was the 14th of January, just a few days before Narendra Modi would hoist the tricolour at the Lal Chowk alongside Murli Manohar Joshi. Modi saw the blessings of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi. On that day, he vowed not to return to Ayodhya until the temple was built, fulfilling the dream of 1 million Indians. And then, of course, the movement, viewers, was not restricted to simply India. Right here is a photograph from 1998 in Mauritius, which hosted the International Ramayan Conference, where Narendra Modi took the word of Bhagwan Shri Ram far and wide. Invited to speak in Mocha, he shared the story of Bhagwan Shri Ram with great enthusiasm, leaving a lasting impact on the audience. Right here you can see in 1998, the International Ramayan Conference in Mauritius. And of course, the events of 1989, particularly the foundationing stone for the Ram Temple in Ayodhya by the VHP, were significant moments in the history of India, says this particular thread. And that, of course, was just this particular page on Twitter trying to summarize how long the Prime Minister has in fact been dedicated to the cause of the Ram Mandir. However, his speech today has been very interesting, and I'd like to take our viewers through some bits and pieces of what he said with our guests today, Utpal Kaul, Professor D.K. Giri, Professor Madhav Nalapat and Alok Mehta also joining us on the broadcast. Professor Nalapat, let me begin this conversation with you, sir. Yes, a lot of people do know that Narendra Modi, as part of the BJP and the RSS, has been associated for a very long time now with the Ram Mandir, with the construction of the Ram Mandir and with the cause of Ayodhya. How crucial does it become, sir, for us to actually maybe look into his history with Ayodhya and then also look at that in the context of what he said today? Like I said in the beginning, even from an Ayodhya, he's made sure that he is letting people know that this place too, in Ayodhya, the Ram Mandir, is for everyone. Just as our policies and our schemes have always focused on Sabka Vikas, Sabka Saath, this too today in Ayodhya is a beginning of another phase of the same.
I think it's a very significant statement, and it indicates very clearly that Lord Ram belonged to humanity as a whole. Yeah, not just to India, but to humanity as a whole. And consequence, people across the world will, I'm certain, come to Ayodhya. From a historical point of view, from a cultural point of view, and yes, you could, from a religious point of view as well. This is an extremely important event. Now, so far as Prime Minister Modi is concerned, he's been a Ram Bhatt for decades and decades, as you correctly said, way back in the 1970s. And he's been working hard for this throughout those decades. I mean, there is ample evidence of that in his statements, in his travels, and various other actions of his, and of which a few have been portrayed by NewsX. Now, I'd like to say that, as we all know, the Prime Minister is a very determined person. When he wants something, he goes all out to get it. And so far, the Ram Temple is concerned, I think it's a dream come true for him. And it's in my personal view, over the next 4 or 5 years, if all goes well, you are going to see a grand temple at Mathura, and then you're going to see the Kashi Vishwanath temple in its original site at Kashi. I think you're going to see both these in maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, but certainly if Prime Minister Modi has anything to do with it, you're going to see both these events take place. So I think today is a very good day, and it's a day for everybody to celebrate. I'm particularly happy that Farooq Abdullah, for example, has very correctly said that the Ram Mandir belongs to this particular event, what is happening now, the building of the Ram Temple. It's something that everybody can be proud of. The whole world can be proud of. And I must say that I agree with Farooq Abdullah about that. This is something that everybody can be proud of. The ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, you see how, with what tenderness, their artifacts are being preserved. In today's Greece, in today's Rome, India, unfortunately, because of our colonial history, we have shown a disrespect towards the past, a disrespect that's now being addressed by Prime Minister Modi, and I think all of us as Indians will be delighted by that.
Absolutely. I'm going to come back to you in just a moment, sir. Let me also bring in some of our other guests into the conversation. Utpal Kaul, same question to you. I'd like to understand from you, Utpal Kaul, when you understand and when you see the sort of history and association that Narendra Modi has had with Ayodhya, and then you see him today inaugurating a railway station, an airport, and several other projects, while also ensuring that even today in the speech, he does highlight the fact that, listen, we are still and always will be all about Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas. What really, do you feel that message is being sent out? Okay, I seem to have lost that. Utpal Kaul, I'm going to request you to unmute yourself. Okay, I think I seem to be having a little bit of a problem there with the connection. But Professor D.K. Giri, if you can hear me, sir, and if you can take the same question, please.
Yeah, I agree with Professor Nalpat that it is a matter of national pride. But I see an underlying shift in our politics, in our stance on religion, which is fair enough. I have been arguing against this secularism, concept of secularism, which is nebulous and has been cluttered by a lot of confusions. So I think we should go for religious pluralism. And the Prime Minister in a secular country taking part, of course, making Ayodhya a tourist attraction and hub of tourism is great. It could be like Makkah, it could be like Vatican City, fair enough. And tourism helps everybody, cuts across all sections of society. But Prime Minister taking part of the inauguration of a temple, That is a big thing. That is also, I would endorse it, provided we do it under a new notion of religious pluralism, and we extend the same patronage to other religions as well, and same state patronage and support to other religions. And if it is exclusive to one religion, be it majority, then I'm a bit concerned, because Prime Minister taking part in a religious activities. But as I said,
Okay, we seem to be losing that connection there as far as the internet is concerned. I don't think. Yes, Utpal Kaur, if you can hear me and if you can unmute yourself now.
Yes, it is okay now. Thank you very much for inviting me for this very important debate. It's a historical day. Bhagwan Ram is soul of Bharat. And he is
that
not
is taking
soul
place. Yeah. So,
Professor Giri, I'll come to you in just a moment. Your connection is a bit unstable.
Sure.
Utpal Kaur, go ahead, go ahead.
So, Lord Ram, Bhagwan Ram, is globally accepted generations, accepted by everyone, and even Mahatma Gandhi was totally, for Mahatma Gandhi, he was a great inspiration. So he said, we will have Ramaraj. So what now Modi ji is doing, he is walking and talking towards Ramaraj. And I am very fortunate that I have participated in Shila Puja in 1989, and I was involved with this Ram Janambhoomi movement also. And so I know closely how meticulously Shri Narendra Modi ji was working as a Sangh. He's basically a Sangh Pracharak, as a Pracharak, and coordinating from BJP side with Vishnu Hindu Parishad. I know from day to day how he was a Rath in charge of LK Advani ji when it was a Rath Yatra in 1991. And so I have participated all these programs which you said in Boat Club or in Delhi when it was a big rally. So it's a great moment. In fact, if we go historically, it was a battle for more than 5. This movement was finally taken by Vishnu Hindu Parishad and Ram Janambhoomi Nyas and other organization, which was totally supported by Bharatiya Janata Party. And from the Bharatiya Janata Party, the leadership was in LK Advani ji's hand on Ram Janambhoomi, but the core person in charge was Shri Narendra Modi ji. So I know how he was making detail for each and every day when he was moving in the Rath Yatra. But having said that, when the court decision came and he finally understood how to make this magnificent temple, and it will be temple for ages to come, and there won't be any Babur now, there won't be any invasion, there won't be anything, because Bharat has come, it's a strong, and so now we will have a great temple here. With the temple, I was calculating that it will be 10 crore. It's not a joke. 10 crore people visiting every year. That means nearly 3 lakh people visiting Ayodhya every day. So we needed a lot of infrastructure. We needed an airport, we need a railway station, we need buses. Now we have 100 buses going every day from Delhi side to Ayodhya. And then we need hotel rooms, and it will generate lot many jobs and lot much of business and commerce activity around in Ayodhya and around Ayodhya. So religious tourism, will be this Dharmic Tirth Yatra will be the big game changer in India now.
Okay, Alok Mehta, bring you into the conversation. I want to understand from you, sir. There will now also be a number of people who will question why should the Prime Minister be so involved, why should the Prime Minister be so in the forefront. Is there anything that perhaps there needs to be done to ensure that a balance is maintained, or do you feel that that balance is already being maintained by the sort of speeches that are being given and the sort of gestures that are being made?
Devika, I think this is very ridiculous if people criticize Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because from the very beginning, as Mr. Dalpat also mentioned and Kaul Sahab, he always worked service for the society with spiritual India. No, religious is not only for one person, for one society, the whole India and all over the world. That's why you see he always tried to do his best when he was RSS worker. And you see the Ayodhya, cutting short, in 76, I also visited with my editor, Manosham Joshi was there and I was a correspondent there. At that time, the roads were so bad, the horrible conditions. The structure was also, nobody was there. Saryu was also dirty, clean, nothing was there. And the archaeological work was going on. Can you imagine? That's why how I feel about it. And that's why Mr. Narendra Modi was also fighting against the emergency. Underground, he was working for the society. At the time, nobody thought that who was working behind. He was helping George Fernandes and other people working as an underground worker. And then when he came in the organization, he also traveled from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. And for Ayodhya, or Krishnabhumi, or Kashi, very down to earth. That's why he knows the problem of the people. Coming on religious places were there for education, for health, temples. They used to have the gurukuls. Narendra Modi is doing new education policy. What people are criticizing Rahul Gandhi talking about the employment. You see the employment in Varanasi, employment in Ayodhya. Just now Mr. Cole mentioned 10 crores people will come, the business of the UP. Can you imagine this? Nobody can. I belong to Ujjain, Mahakal. Thousands or lakhs and lakhs people are going there now. It's difficult even but tomorrow 10 lakhs people are reaching there in 31st. I never even 50 people were used to go at that time when I was a child, a student in the same area. So you imagine the Narendra Modi not just praising as the Prime Minister. I say he is doing a lot for the society. That's why today also, this was the development part. He never talked about the BJP. That's why when you mentioned about the BJP, it's not a BJP function.
Yes.
That's why he did only about the railway stations, how it will help the people, connect the people, went to a house, 10 crores people got the gas. So this today was a very historical day. And he also mentioned Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose on 30th December hosted the flag on Andaman Nicobar. The same day we have Ram Rajya in a different way for this India, Ram Rajya in a practical purpose. Temples are not only for the praying, but to make the society. They all, Gurudwara, temple or church, they used to combine the society, to unite the society, not to disintegrate. That's why the political people were criticizing, we don't want to go. Sharad Pawar mentioned, I go in a selected place. Okay. This is not a question of going there. It's not going. It's just you have to you should feel happy that people from Maharashtra, people go from all over the world, people will go, I know, he is going to inaugurate in Abu Dhabi, the Hindu temple there. Who is? It's not a BJP state rule. So this kind of criticism, I feel bad about in politics. One should go for the vote, serve the people, and get the votes. But just criticizing on the basis of just because some function in the temple or some Ayodhya or Varanasi developing, this development is for employment, for the progress of the society. The poor people, they get jobs. Even from Delhi or Mumbai, people are coming from there, are going from there and working. Self-employment. Why? People are just talking about the caste and employment of the government services. This is not the British rule. British rule, only the clerks get employment, or the babus and in the army just to go for world war or killing our own people. But now we need self-employed people, and that's why Prime Minister wants that these kind of places and the transport facilities, other facilities, give the same self-employment, the more confidence what India is doing.
Right, absolutely. Let me bring in Professor Nalapat as well. Professor Nalapat, just reading out from an excerpt in Sadhana magazine from 1989, what Narendra Modi had written then. He says, to build a future India, united India, there is a need to reconstruct those symbols that connect hearts and not those that break them. The reconstruction of the Ram Janmabhoomi has also become a symbol of the message of unity by dissolving hate. Has, as per you, the Bharatiya Janata Party and Narendra Modi managed to actually then achieve the Ram Janmabhoomi as a factor that can unite India?
Devika, there's no doubt about that. And may I point out that the significance of the Narendra Modi for decades has basically pointed out the factual truth, which is that a temple constructed has to be constructed on the site of the birthplace of Lord Ram. A temple in Mathura has to be constructed on the birthplace of Lord Krishna. And the Kashi Vishwanath temple has to be in its original site, the site of the original Kashi Vishwanath temple. These are the three holy sites of the Hindu faith. And may I point out that, every religion has got their holy sites. You have the holy sites of Makkah, Medina, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and that's a wonderful thing. You have the holy sites of the Christian community. For example, Bethlehem. It's such a, it evokes so many feelings in the minds of people. You have, as has been pointed out, Vatican City. So these three sites are very precious, and they're precious not only because of the religious aspect, but because they are birthplaces or their locations, and they can't be changed. So that is why Narendra Modi was very emphatic that the construction has to take place on the birthplace of Lord Sri Ram. And I think he must be an extremely happy man today, as would be, I think, more than, well over 1 billion people at what is happening. And again, I emphasize, this has nothing to do with exclusivity of religion. The whole concept of Sanatana Dharma is that different paths lead to divinity. There's no exclusive path to divinity. So when you are a Sanatani, you accept all paths. And the corollary to that is others must accept your path. It cannot be one-way traffic.
Yes.
It has got to be a two-way traffic. And from that point of view, this is a symbol of the ancient unity of India. It's a symbol of the immense depth of the history of India. And it's something all of us in India can be proud of. Indeed, it's something the whole world can be proud of. And I'm very glad that more and more people are acknowledging that.
Okay, I'm going to leave the last word with Professor D.K. Giri. Professor Giri, we're running out, but we'd lost your connection there. I'm hoping you're back with us now. Just your thoughts on, on the same. A vision that was set out in the 1980s, rather the 1970s, one can say, by a young Narendra Modi, saying that the Ram Janmabhoomi, when it is constructed, must be a symbol of unity for India. Has he then managed to achieve and deliver on that vision?
Sure, I think he has. He has done, and Narendra Modi has been consistent in his approach. But I would make a distinction between Narendra Modi, the RSS worker, the social and political activist, and the Prime Minister. I have no problem with that, as I said, but there is a fundamental flaw in the argument. that that we should have a Ram Rajya. We draw inspiration for governance, moral inspiration from all our religious traditions, spiritual traditions. But to there is a difference between theocracy and democracy. Of course, Lord Ram is venerated all across. I agree with Professor Nalpad when he talks of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma, even Arif Muhammad Khan says that I am a Sanatani. It's a religion of humanism. But when it comes to political Hindutva, there is a problem. So we'll have to be mindful of that as well. To conflate Sanatan Dharma with Hindutva and polarize the community will be a disservice to Sanatan Dharma itself. So that is my concern. But whatever happening is good, but it is making a fundamental shift in our political thinking, our political discourse. Fair enough, but let's say it and let everybody accept it. As I told you in the beginning, that kind of attitude and patronage should be extended to all religions, in our country. We have all the religions in our country, not just Hinduism. Sanatan Dharma encompasses all of us. That is no problem. There is no disagreement. As I said, Arif Muhammad Khan has said many times, I am a Sanatani. So, but when it comes to political Hindutva, to say that, to equate Hindutva with the country, I have a problem.
Right, absolutely. I've completely run out of time, but I thank all of our panelists for joining us on this very important discussion that we're having on the day when the Prime Minister has inaugurated the railway station as well as the airport.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.